televidente nang nos takinan ko nos entrevistado nang imanera mabisa tres caballero manera po sa ami samata corrigimi cos nang agena nos tinha dama siguro kuta by join us actually in nos by dialogato cante di lo qual kuta in negócio nang chiquito Kiko Pahasi e mi vai começar primeiramente comi in misa invitado kuta eigenlijk de binja fo pero também me quer bisa que nós vai switch na inglês, que nós vai cambiar na inglês para aqui nós temos diálogo hobby interessante. Welcome Richard to Aruba.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure to be here and an honor to be here also
Thank you
share
very
my to share my knowledge and background with everyone.
Thank you very much. Leo bombini também de nosso programa, Lei também hobby bombini de nosso programa. I just wanted to welcome them in Papiamento. We're going to switch immediately to the topic. Richard, what would you say is a small business?
A small business normally is a business that is really independently controlled. Normally, it's any business that has less than really 500 employees is the way it's considered to be in the U.S. But probably here, you know, any business that would be less than 100 also would be considered a small business. But mainly independently operated, for profit, not part of a conglomerate.
Okay, Leo. My question to you is, what are the challenges that we have here on the island with actually small businesses?
Well, I think that in Aruba we have all the challenges that you would have also with businesses anywhere elsewhere in the world. You have a lack of knowledge with many companies when they start up, far too optimistic perspectives. Lack also of capital, that is a very important one that has not been solved yet. And also the experience to choose to single out the right personnel you need for the kind of business you want to set up. There are more aspects, but these are some of the pitfalls and a lot of small companies fall into when they start up.
I have a question now. I'm going to ask Lei, and I'm also going to ask you, Richard, because I want to see both perspectives. They always say that small business is actually the backbone of the economy. My question is, why is it the backbone of the economy? I'm going to start first with Lei, and then I'll go back to you.
Sure. In the case of Aruba, it's definitely a backbone because about 80% of our businesses are small businesses. And because of the limitations and the lack of capital, most of the time we start small. So it is one of the biggest income that we can get here in Aruba. So in the case of the United States, it might be different, but in the case of Aruba, the small businesses are 80% of our enterprises here.
Okay, Richard, the same question for you.
Sure, well, I would totally agree. In fact, in the U.S., actually about 99% of all businesses are considered to be small businesses. So studies that have been done literally all over the world, that's why small businesses are the backbone of all of the economies, because there are so many individuals that are employed by small to medium-sized enterprises. We need that to keep our economies going.
You know what I find is interesting is that although they say that's almost 80, sometimes 90%, sometimes you feel like there is not enough support for the small business. What would you say here on the island and of course in the States? Let me start with you, Lei.
Well, what I have observed while I was mentoring 5 years small businesses, I noticed that there are certain limitations, certain bottlenecks, as you mentioned previously, and this has improved in the last couple of years, I must say. For example, information, the lack of knowledge. Nowadays we have the Aruba Chamber, we have the Department of Economic Affairs providing information, training, so it has improved, and I think that is something that helps the businesses as well, the small businesses, to thrive and to innovate as well, the information and the education that they get, and I think we are heading in the right direction to start with.
Richard, what
Sure.
would you say that there are? What for bottlenecks?
Well, I think there's no question about it, and I would agree with Lei also that over the years we have seen an increase in knowledge, and of course the internet has helped small business owners considerably.
Yes.
That now, if they have questions, it's a great place for them to research. But what all SME owners need to realize, it is through knowledge that we can gain success and understand how to grow our small businesses. So it's vitally, vitally important for owners and managers of SMEs to search out that information, whether it's through private consultants, whether it's through universities, whether it's through the internet, through the chamber. Success is the key. Knowledge is the key to success.
I'm going to ask you, Leo, what are actually the support that we offer here on the island for those bottlenecks that both are mentioning that exist?
Well, if we go back just 5 years, Aruba was about a blank page when it came to support to small and medium-sized businesses. But nowadays there is a lot more in support in information, especially for startups, and also how to deal with the basic aspects of running a business. There is also a lot of support from accountancy firms, for instance, who are, for instance, cooperating greatly with the chamber in all the courses and training as we do. One of the main areas we would like to focus on additionally in the coming years is financing, especially small loans for startups, because companies that make it to the intermediate level, would say, they can get financing through the banking, the commercial banking system. But what we lack here in Aruba is microfinancing, and especially in funds that are meant to be a stimulus for small business, in the sense that what we see in other countries, that part of the loan is actually not a loan but a gift, a subsidy. And then what you do as a government is that you specifically target certain sectors you want to stimulate. So you don't have these loans available for just any economic activity, but you specifically choose some sectors you want to stimulate, and then you use that instrument of partially loan and partially subsidy. We dearly lack this in Aruba, and I would like to see that in the coming few years we can start up something like that.
Excellent. Richard, the question that I have is because talking about starting a new business, whether it's micro, small, or medium business, business plan. What exactly is the business plan, and how important is the business plan?
Well, a business plan is important. What it really is, it's a roadmap to the future. It's how are we going to run our business? But that will include how the business is organized, what the experience is of the owners, what the marketing plan is going to be, what type of marketing research has been done, how are we going to actually market the business, how are we going to finance the business, what kind of employees are we going to need, what are our products or services going to be, really what is the market, is it a broad market or is it a very targeted narrow market? So really a business plan includes everything in the formation stage or the development stage of that business that really gets us out of the starting block. So again, it's a roadmap, it's a blueprint. Businesses cannot operate just day to day hoping for the best. They need a plan, and the more specific and detailed the plan is, the better it is. So many times I have had over my 30-plus year career, small business owners say to me, well, is planning really important? Or I thought planning was only for large businesses. And I always have to chuckle and think to myself, well, how do you think those businesses became large?
Exactly.
They planned.
Exactly. Now, is there any part of the business plan that you would say is challenging?
Well, I think for most small business owners, the challenging part is what I consider to be all of the core functions of a business. And what I mean by that, so many times we see a small business owner being technically proficient in the product or service that their business has to offer, but they don't really understand all of the other core functions such as management, marketing, strategic planning, finance, internal controls. And this is really vitally important in order to run a business. We cannot just know one area of a business. So when we look at that business plan and you ask the question, really what is important? Well, all of those core functions are important, and we have to have what I consider to be core competencies in all of those functions.
Okay, great. Lei, I have a question for you because you dealt a lot with actually entrepreneurs locally. What would you say is the challenge that we encounter locally?
Okay, I think I could summarize that in 3 points.
Okay.
First of all, I think that it has to do first of all with information and knowledge, but as I mentioned, it has improved in Aruba. Second, it is the funding financing because in Aruba we have the traditional financing. You go to a bank and you get a business loan. In the States we have angel investors, you have venture capital, you have crowdfunding. In Aruba we don't have that, so it's a little bit more challenging to get that financing. And as also Leo mentioned, the grants, microfinance and guarantee funds, we don't have that in Aruba, so it's a little bit more challenging for them. And the third point is the lack of time. So most of the time, many of the entrepreneurs have a full-time job. So they have, one way or another, they have to leave that full-time job, that security to start their business. Or they have to work on a business plan, but they don't have the time because they are employed full-time. So those are the challenges that
It's
that
interesting that you say that, because I would like to, emphasize a little bit on that. Because what is it that causes that, I will say, phenomena? Because is it fear of starting something new? And here I'm going to start with you, but I'm going to go also with Leo. What is it? Is it that people are scared of venturing into a business?
I think it's two things, because you start small, you have to do with your personal finances as well, not only your corporate financing, but also your household. So you're gonna consider different aspects. You're gonna consider, your household debts. What will you leave behind, and what is the security you have to cover those? So it is, in a certain sense, anxiety, fear. Yes, it's emotional, but that is something that most of the time we as business advisor, we can help, but this is something very personal, and that's why that's the key difference of an entrepreneur, is the jumping of that fear and anxiety to go for that plan.
Okay, I'm going to go to Leo. Leo, what do you think are the key ingredients that makes an entrepreneur? And I'm going to go back to you, Richard, because I would like for you to tell me also about it.
Well, being an entrepreneur is something that you have inside you already. It's difficult to describe. Some people just like to do that, and it starts early on. Some people at school, sell things, they buy things, they do stuff, and those are the entrepreneurs, the born entrepreneurs. But it's also something you can learn if you do it the right way. And to come back to what you just mentioned about the fear, I think that as an entrepreneur, you always fear, because it's something, the uncertainty is almost killing you, and instead, in spite of that, you get stressed. But there is no problem having fear, and there is no shame in starting very small. We see here in Aruba that a lot of people start with small businesses alongside their full-time job. There is nothing wrong with that, because in that way you can at least know for sure that you will survive the first difficult years. And many big businesses also in other countries started out in a garage.
Exactly.
With 2 or 3 people doing that. So there's no shame, there is no embarrassment in that. Maybe in a lot of small businesses, maybe that's the right way to start, because that's being careful also with the financial resources you have. What we see here in Aruba is the opposite, that people gather some capital and they rent a shop that will cost them thousands a month, plus the electricity bill, staff, stock, etc. And before you know it, they are out of business, because in that setup you cannot sit out not even the first year. So that carefully starting out in your own backyard or in your own garage, maybe for a lot of small business is the right way to go.
Okay. Now, Richard, my question to you is this, because a lot of people would like to start. As an entrepreneur, what would you say are the key points or factors that a successful entrepreneur needs to have? Because we all know that you will find challenges. I mean, how do you surpass them and still keep going?
Sure. Well, actually, let me mention something that my 2 colleagues mentioned. And I'm going to take a little bit opposite approach of one of the comments. What I find with entrepreneurs many times, rather than fear, they're actually overly optimistic because they have this
This vision, this passion.
They have this sense of adventure. They want to be independent. As I like to say, they're willing to work 60 hours a week for themselves, so they don't have to work 40 hours a week for somebody else. And so many times we have to pull those reins back and we say, you know, now before you jump into that business, let's make sure, have you really done your homework? Have you done that market research? You might think you have the greatest product or service in the world, but does anybody else think that you have the greatest product? You know, what is the competition? Is the market shrinking or is it expanding? So I think that's important for us to look at also when we talk about entrepreneurs, that many times we do have to be careful, as you said, in starting out slow. And so many times I've had to consult with individuals and say, you know, we do need to really come down a little bit, and we do need to start a little slower, and we do need to make sure that there is a market. But then also going on, I believe, to your question, what are some of the things that, you know, that an entrepreneur really needs? I think it's both a negative and a positive. So many times they really don't understand the strengths and weaknesses of their own business. They don't understand, again, what they should emphasize, what strengths they should capitalize on, and they don't really understand what the weaknesses are going into their business. So before anyone goes into business, or even after they've gotten started, we really need to take a look at that. And I think that's a key thing. Another thing that I would say, so many times we have entrepreneurs, they don't really understand the finance of the business. Again, someone does not have to be an accountant or have a finance degree, but they do need to understand, well, what's producing the most money in their business? What expenses are out of line? And really then a third thing that I might mention, of course I could go on and mention, you know, dozens and dozens of things, but so many times entrepreneurs, they don't see what their customers see. They don't understand and experience what their customers see. And I always say, you know, step into the shoes of your customers and say, if I was a customer of my business, what would I like about doing business with me? What would I not like? Why would I go to the competition? Am I getting benefits and solutions for the money that I'm paying? So many times I think if we sum it all up, an entrepreneur just needs to learn about their own individual business.
Okay, thank you. We're going to take a break here now and we'll come back. Vamos para pausa e já nos back.